everyone. Today we are making scrunchies. So I'm going to show you how to make these different scrunchies here and what I use to make them. They're very easy. They're super beginner friendly. They're quick, they're fun, they're useful. It is so much fun. So I'm going to show you what I use to make these. So for this one, I use this homespun. It is in, I thrifted this one. This one is in the color Tulips. It's really pretty. It's that hot pink and it's got a little bit of like an orange type of, like a pale orange color, tan something mixed in there. So that one is really pretty. And then I made this one. And this I made with a Bernat chunky textured yarn. This one, the color is Fall Shades. This one I also thrifted. It was on clearance wherever it was bought, but it is a thrifted yarn. That. What I really like about these textured yarns is I typically struggle making things with textured yarns because I really enjoy seeing the definition of stitches, and with the chunky textured yarns you really can't see the stitch definitions, and I really like to see those stitches, so I normally stay away from these textured yarns, but this is a project that is perfect for these, for the textured yarns. A reason why I like it for this project instead of like other projects is if you miss a stitch in here, you're really not going to see it because it's supposed to be rippled, it's supposed to be, all over, like scrunched up like this. So you really can't see if you miss a stitch or not. And if I'm making a blanket where I need to count stitches, or a scarf that I need to count stitches or something like that, I don't like these textured yarns because it's very easy to miss stitches because you're not really sure where you're going with them. But for this project, it works out really nice. The finished product is really nice. And also, if you use a worsted 4-weight that I used for this one, it also comes out really nice. So you can really use any yarn you want for this project, and uh, that is just awesome to be able to use whatever type of yarn you want for this project. It just gives you different looks. All right, so I'm going to show you what it looks like to do one of these projects with the worsted 4-weight so that you can see exactly what it is that I'm doing, since the stitch definition is very clear with this yarn. Now, with the homespun, it does say to use a 6.5 millimeter hook, which you could absolutely do that, but I did use a 5.5 millimeter for everything that I made today. So it's really flexible as far as the hook size that you use. If you want to use something a little bit different than what it says on here. This one, does it even say? It has my knit. Oh, there we go. All right, this one calls for a 5 millimeter. And then my worsted 4-weight calls for a 5.5 millimeter. This one was done with, let's see, what was it? I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby, and it is in the color Burnt Pumpkin, if you're looking for that color. But I'm going to show you today on some scrap that I had. This is a worsted 4-weight. So I've got my 5.5 millimeter hook. You could use whatever hook works best for you. With this one, it is very flexible as far as this project goes. And then something that you need to start is a hair tie. So you could get these hair ties whatever size that you want. There's the smaller, thinner ones that would work. You've got the like the t-shirt ones that are made out of fabric. Could use that. I'm going to show you on this because you can buy a large pack of these at the dollar store or at Walmart. They're very, just the regular old hair ties that you find. So this is what I'm going to teach you on, but you could use this with any simple hair tie this project will work on. So I'm going to start with a slip knot, and I'm going to start with a standing double crochet. If you would like to join your yarn to the hair tie and then chain 3, you could also do that. Whatever works best for you is perfectly fine. So I'm going to put my standing double crochet here on my hair tie, and you can see that it's just like working into a ring of a project. So we're going to work all the way around this hair tie. For this one, I used 50. I did 50 double crochets all the way around. For this one, I did 40. And for this one, I did 60. So it really depends on the ripple that you want. You can see the difference, and it also depends on the thickness of the yarn, um, your hook size, all those things come into play. But just so you can see, I did 60 on this one. You can see it's a little bit more rippled than this one, which was 50, and this one that was 40. So you could see this one is less rippled. This one's in the middle, and then this one is more rippled. So it really just depends on the look that you want. And I thought that for the yarn texture, they all worked pretty well. I'm going to try doing this one with 50 like this because I really like the way that this one ripples more than the other two, but it's totally preference. So I'm gonna go with 50, and you can do more or less. It just depends on the look that you like. My goal is to make it that the hair tie is completely covered by the stitches. So you can see if I stretch it, you can see the hair tie underneath that. But if it's just sitting here, you can't see the hair tie. So that is my goal, is just to make sure that there are enough stitches to cover the surface of this hair tie. So I'm going to go with 50, and I'll be back with you when I have reached 50 double crochets around this hair tie. I also just wanted to hop in here and show you this. So right now I have 27 crochets around my hair tie, and you can see that the hair tie is completely covered. But what I want to do is cause this rippled look. So what I want to do, along with completely covering it, I want to add some extra so that I get these ripples. Because if I just do it all the way across, it's just going to stay flat, and I don't want a flat scrunchie. I want a rippled scrunchie. So what I'm going to do is just scooch my stitches down around the hair tie like that. So I have 27 on here now. You can see that covers about half once I've scrunched it, and it's got the little ripples there. And that is a good indication that my 50 will be a good fit on here. So I have 27, I'm just going to do the rest of the 50, and as I need the space, I'm just going to scooch everything down like that. And I'll meet back with you when I hit 50 double crochets, and we'll see how it looks. Okay, and you can see that I have reached 50 here, and that it has covered the hair tie pretty well, and I've got some nice little ripples there, and I'm happy with the way that that looks. So what I'm going to do is slip stitch into that first double crochet, or the top of your chain 3, whatever it is that you did for your first stitch. So slip stitch there. Now I'm going to chain 3, and I'm going to work another double into that same space that I just slip stitched into and chained 3 from. So I'm just going to do one more double in that space. And now the next space and each stitch all the way across, I'm going to do 2 doubles in each of these stitches. So I will end up with 100 stitches since I did 50 for my first round, and I'm doing 2 doubles into each stitch all the way around. That's going to double it, so I will have 100 double crochets on this round. So just 2 double crochets in each stitch. And I'll meet back with you when I have my 100 double crochets meeting back at the first stitch here. All right, I have reached the beginning stitch here, and I'm just going to do the same thing I did on the last row, and I'm going to slip stitch into that first double crochet, or the top of the chain 3 that I did. So slip stitch into there. I'm going to chain 1, and I'm going to cut my yarn and leave a nice tail so I can weave in the ends. And I'm just going to pull all the way through, tighten it up, and I'm going to weave in my tails. And this is a little bit different than how I have shown you how to weave in tails before. Because this one is supposed to be stretching like this, I'm not going to weave my tail in across the stitches. I'm going to weave it in up and down throughout the stitches vertically, like this. So then it won't hinder the stretch of the scrunchie at all. Because I don't want to get in the way of it stretching horizontally like this if I weave my ends in that way. So I'm just gonna stay right in line with the stitches, and I'm just doing 3 passes because that gives it a good weave that it will not come undone. And once your end, make sure I cut the right one here. Once your end is sewn in, you can cut it right up to the end of your, right up to the edge of your piece. Just make sure that you're not cutting any of your other strands. But you do not want to cut like this one. If I cut this right here, this is the one that I have not sewn in yet. That's just the beginning of my stitches. If I were to cut that, this whole piece would come unraveled because the knot is right there, and I don't want to risk that happening. So that is why I make sure to weave in all my ends. I do know that there are a lot of people, myself included, that do not like to weave in ends, because for me, it makes me feel like I am, my time is being taken away from my crochet projects, and I could be getting so much more done if I didn't need to weave in these pesky ends. But sometimes there just are not ways around that. And you can make it a good time, like you can make it fun, where you have a timer, you try to beat your timer, you put on some nice music, put on a good show, just get in the zone. It can be a pleasant time if you make it that way. And I just want to encourage you to have fun weaving in your ends. Make it a fun project. Give yourself something something to look forward to when you weave in your ends. Even like giving yourself a special thing that you only get to do when you're weaving in your ends. Like if you have a show that you really like and you want to watch that show, but you know that you can only watch that show if you're weaving in ends, it gives you something to look forward to, or a book on tape or anything like that. So all right, anyway, that is our scrunchie. The 50 double crochets around the edge was wonderful. This is the 50. This is the 60. You can see a little bit of the difference where it's more rippled over here than this one. If you did 40, you'd be less rippled, but it really is, and you don't need to use a multiples of 10. That is just me. I like multiples of 10s or 5s, so that's what I go with. But you can use any number that you want. It does not need to be anything specific. You don't even need to count if you don't want to. You just do it till it feels right. So this is a very flexible pattern. It is very forgiving. If you miss a stitch here or there, not a big deal. It's not going to change the look of your scrunchie at all. So have fun with this. I would love to see what you have made. If you would like to post some pictures on my Facebook page, I would love to see what you make and the colors that you chose. Please make sure to subscribe and like this video if you like this content. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon.